I'm Tommy Bures. This is my wife, Jessica. We've been together for just over 11 years, and we've been coming to St. Mark's for just over 5 years now.
So our adoption journey actually started in 2020, and that's when we got licensed. You know, that 2020, what are you gonna do in 2020? So like, we always knew we were gonna adopt, so we got licensed in 2020. A year and a half went by, we have heard nothing. We got our adoption license, but not our foster license, so that kind of plays a role. And then, so a year and a half has gone by, and we're like, the waiting process and being on God's time don't always go well with me. I am a control person. I'm like, this is taking forever. So it's last year, 2022. We're in 2022, and we have waited a year and a half and nothing has happened. So we're like, okay, maybe we'll have a biological child. So September comes along, there's no biological child, there's no adoption, and we're feeling like, okay, what are we supposed to do? And so I'm like, okay, we could get our foster license and speed up the adoption process. We could continue trying to biologically have a child. But for us to get our foster license, I would have either had to register, do an in-home daycare, or get a job outside the home, or just totally stay home and do nothing. So I started applying for jobs, and we made an appointment with our DHS worker. And at that time, she's like, hey, you know, we can start the foster license, but I also have heard from somebody and there's 2 kids available that you might be interested in. And I was like, okay, like, sure. That wasn't where I was going with life, but
planning for 1, and you know,
here's 2. And we're like, okay.
Why not add 2 more?
Yeah.
It was a couple of years ago. Jessica said, hey, I signed up to be a volunteer for youth ministry on Wednesday nights, and I voluntold you as well. So I show up, and they're like, hey, here's a group of 6th graders, you know, preteens, teenagers, have fun with it, good luck. And the funny thing about it is that was right in the age range of a child we had been looking for in our adoption process. You know, God put me in that position to work with those kids and learn from them, to learn how to deal with a child of that age in our home.
We were there, we met with the DHS worker, and she was like, so I have these 2 kids, it's a boy and it's a girl. Are you interested? At the time, they would have been 12 or 13. And we were like, okay. Actually, fun fact about this is they also have religious trauma. So how does that look in our life? You know, we're churchgoers, like this isn't really an option in our life. Like, can we make this work? So the kids met us, and we were like, okay, let's go, let's see, like, can you just try with us? And they did, and it was great. Like, they were both like growing in their faith when they're in our home, and things were at play.
They made connections and made some new friends at church. That was good, especially on Wednesday nights doing the youth ministry. Yeah,
and then, you know, we're still on our journey, and January comes around, and one of the kids, like, we had some issues arise and some things happened, and there was a lot of prayer going on, there was a lot of family decisions that had to be made, and it just, with what we thought things would look like and where they were actually gonna be, God had a bigger plan that, you know, sometimes goodbyes aren't always the easiest, but He's there for you and has it all figured out. You just have to maintain the faith to get through those hard times, to get to where everybody needed to be. May 17th came around, and he ended up being adopted, and it was the greatest thing ever. And all of the hard and the waiting, all, like, it comes together at some point. It's just relying on the faith to get you to that point. That was really game-changing for us. And that's where, like, God's like, I got this child for you, just hold on a little bit longer. He chose to spend his 14th birthday, like, we gave him the choices, church, where you want to spend your 14th birthdays? And he was like, yeah, let's go to church for my 14th birthday and do dinner there and cake there, and it just was perfect.
Yeah. And we carved pumpkins with my now 8th grade group and Jessica's 5th grade group. So it was a little bit of
it's just like everything,
crossover in the ministry.
Everything came full circle the way it was supposed to, just not in the timeline we expected.
Yeah.